can she tell the truth from the lies? She doesn't want to lose me, so she only sees what she wants to see. No way out.
We're going to turn this morning to the Secretary of Labor, Hilda Solis. Madam Secretary, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. It's good to be with you.
I wanted to start with the president. We know in Wisconsin this morning and going to be speaking to the people there later today. And I wanted to revisit the numbers we talked about at the top of the broadcast. 14.9 million Americans unemployed, nearly 15 million. But if you take into account those who've simply given up or have settled for part-time work, 26 million Americans actually looking for work. So, Secretary Solis, what can you say to them watching this morning about what the president will say this week that could change things right now?
Well, we know we're in a tough situation, and the high number of unemployed is unacceptable, and we know that we have to work quickly and continue to move on a pathway that will take us out of the ditch, so to speak. We know that in the last 8 months, we've actually added about 90,000 private sector jobs each month. That, I think, is a good indication that we're slowly moving to correcting the bad situation that we were in. This last month's report, as you know, also indicates that we're seeing growth in certain sectors, in construction, manufacturing, in the mining industry, in healthcare, and other areas. And I think that the president today will also talk, when he makes his speech in Milwaukee, about investments in infrastructure.
Secretary, I can't help but to point out, it feels a little bit like a case of deja vu. You were on this broadcast exactly a year ago on Labor Day morning. It was 9.7%, the unemployment rate at the time. It is now at 9.6%. And to quote you from a year ago, you said, "I think in a few months we will see a recovery in a positive way." Do you think a year later that that's what we've seen?
Well, what I said was that we have added jobs, and I can tell you that if people haven't found the jobs, I would direct them to our internet website, dol.gov, My Skills, My Future. So if you don't have a job and you currently want to get into another career or another job, you can go online free, and you can also find out exactly what skill sets you need, what educational training is available that we will provide assistance for, and then where the job is in your local area.
So much riding on what the president will say this week. You mentioned jobs in the private sector a moment ago, and I wanted to put up the numbers. We did the math. Over the last 3 months, on average, 78,000 new jobs in the private sector each month. But if you take into account what economists say, that it would take 200,000 jobs a month just for the number of people entering the labor force and to rehire the people on the unemployment line, we have a long way to go just to meet that mark.
Well, you know, it took us a long time to get into this recession, as you well know, and I can tell you that the changes that have been made, even through my own department, making investments with businesses, community colleges, to help provide assistance to people who have completely lost their jobs because those jobs have been outsourced, have gone to other countries. Now we're looking at reinvesting here in the American worker, and that's why it's so important to emphasize this Labor Day that our priority under this administration is those workers that haven't found a job and those people that right now are maybe underemployed.
And Madam Secretary, I was curious to know when we were last feeling the heat like this in a recession. It was 1982, President Reagan, of course, in office. Unemployment rate exceeded 9% for 19 months. We're at 16 months now, and some political observers have begun to say that President Reagan did a better job of letting the American people know it was going to take time and about outlining a plan. Do you think that the president and your administration could be doing a better job?
I think that this president has done a good job. Day one, since he started and took office, he had the Recovery Act already laid out. And we know that it did help to save anywhere from 3.2 to 3.5 million jobs. And I'll tell you, people are hurting. We know that, but we know that we must keep vigilant and we must keep on target, keep our eye on the ball, put people back to work, working as best that we can, providing the tools that they need, training, education, and also incentives to get that jumpstart in businesses. So making sure that we get capital available to small businesses is our priority.
Madam Secretary, thanks for being here on Labor Day.
Thank you. We'll see you again.